I'm going to take you on a little tour and show you why gardening is so easy for me and why I call myself a lazy gardener. Gardening does not have to be hard and laborious, and sometimes you don't have to sweat the small stuff. So let's go and have a look at my garden. Here you can see I've direct sown some beetroot. I just whack those bad boys in and they've come up. Not much to do there. Take a look at my new perennial. Here we have some watercress, and this is going to be delicious in salads. Absolutely lovely. Imagine it. You don't have to sow this over and over again. You just plant watercress and then you've got watercress. All it needs is just a boggy ground. So I've got mine in this sink here, which hasn't got very good drainage. The tomatoes aren't doing so well, but the watercress is loving it. Next up is planting in clumps. You can sow a few seeds together and then you just kind of like put the whole load of seeds, whack it in the ground and see what happens, because actually things like radish or some root crop, beetroot, they don't need to be sown in individual cells, taking ages and ages and ages for you to plant out. No, I mean, check out these. So you can see there. And so all you do is you just thin them out. You see there's a big one in there. You just thin out the big ones and then let the rest grow. Save on ground, I've also interplanted with some beans in there. They've just not come up yet. So, oh, there is one. There is one that's come up. So basically, you know, as you harvest the radish, the beans are going to come up, and then by the time you've finished harvesting the radishes, the beans are going to be there. It's going to be great, really. I'll show you now. I want to show you my new tomatoes. Thank you, Gang Gang and Peanut, because the type of tomatoes that Gang Gang and Peanut have given me, well, most of them, and dwarf tomatoes are the best. They're so easy. You don't need to do any picking out, and they just keep producing. They're most amazing. So they don't really get any bigger than that. And apparently they're just going to keep flowering and just keep producing tomatoes. Got some direct sown, oh, this must be rocket here, and some spinach. And here are my strawberries. For those of you who follow my channel, you will have seen my big and juicy strawberry video. Well, oh my God, look at these. They're just amazing. Hello. Hello. All of you guys. Oh yeah, oh yeah. My pickling peppers. So the only thing I do spend a lot of time on is high value crops, aubergines, peppers, tomatoes, because obviously if you buy an organic they do cost a lot. But we've had a lot of sun, so it's been absolutely easy peasy and great, which is amazing. And look, self-seeded tomato. I'll just show you another one. How easy is that? Don't even have to do anything. It's just there, self-seeded itself. There it is, just wanting to be in the background. Talked about watercress earlier. Well, another one of my favourites is this lemon sorrel, which has just got a lemony flavour, because it's just amazing, really. And you just pick the leaves and it just cut and come again. I like to give it a good old hard cut back if it's got, like, you know, slug holes and stuff, and then just continues. Do you want to see what I've been sowing recently, all the little bits? I've got something really exciting here. Really, really exciting. Look how cute these are. Does anybody know what these are? I'm going to let you have a think, and I'll tell you at the end what they are. But they are, surprisingly, they came up within 2 days. They're a cash crop, very expensive. Apparently they like the warmth, and I did not know that. I thought it was a cold weather crop. So here we've got my squash, but these are old squash seeds, so not all of them have come up, or they've just become a bit dodgy. I just literally shoved them all in. And this little baby is tobacco. Now, I don't smoke, but how weird is that? Okay, how cool would it be to grow your own tobacco? I like to grow my coriander in like big tall buckets. Coriander is surprisingly easy to grow if it's kept warm in shade but not too warm, so it doesn't bolt, but also it doesn't like being disturbed, so that's why I just like to sow it where it is and let it do its thing. And I guess succession sowing. I think out now I could probably sow it outside as well, just like my carrots. I like to do those in buckets too. Let's have a look. So there's the carrots I mentioned, growing them in buckets, doing well. I need to sow some more now. So before I show you my blueberries, you should see how many I've got. I'm just going to show you what I've been doing as well. Another type of plant that I've been group sowing. You know, like I mentioned with the beetroot, I've been group sowing this thing as well. And these are my onions. I need to weed this bed, but I actually tried to sow these in clumps. and they're not shallots. I've just whacked them in to see how they go. They do need weeding, don't they? So if ever you are doing a dish and all of a sudden you forget that you haven't got any onions, you know, you could get these walking onions here. So what happens here is these really, really cool buds at the top, they go like that, they go really heavy, and then they bend over and then they get sown. How amazing is that? Actually, you just get loads and loads of onions everywhere. So I've got Monch 2 there, I've got some different bits and pieces there, just loads and loads to see. Oh, do you want to check out my garlic? Oh, it's next to the blueberries. I'll show you the blueberries. So this is the garlic. Next month this will be harvest. It's starting to bulb up now, isn't it? But it's just not quite there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to all of that. So I need to make sure that I'm watering now because we have been very, very dry. But can you see how many blueberries are on this bad boy? And this is only a very, very small pot. Yeah? And that's what we want. We want just blueberries everywhere. Just before I tell you what those little seedlings are that came up in 2 days, the cash crop, I'm just going to show you my chop and drop version with the apple tree, and I'm going to do this with all of my apple trees. Can you see that Bocking 14 comfrey there? I did a video, didn't I, on the best fertiliser, best natural fertiliser. Well, that's your, look at that. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. Got a bee going on right there. That's your Bocking 14, and what happens is you essentially chop it down, chop and drop right next to the apple tree, and if you have some of that next to all of your apple trees and everything, you'll be able to, yeah, just have your apple trees fertilised. Here are all the potatoes, just quickly. So they're all coming up in their little bags. And I've also done some more there, and there's a few in that little patch there. So I had a bit of a failure this year because I didn't mulch and water my asparagus enough. And they are the seedlings that you saw earlier. So don't be scared to try, don't be scared to try things from seed. I was just like, oh, you have to buy those expensive asparagus crowns, and they cost a fortune, they really do, to, like, you know, get there and plant. But I just tried doing the seeds, and it might take another extra year because obviously asparagus takes a while, doesn't it? But yeah, so those asparagus seedlings, they came up within 2 days, and I'm just going to grow loads of them and just sit on it, keep it mulched, and then yeah, success. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else that you'd like to see in my garden. But yeah, mwah, take care, have a good day, bye.